everyone, this is Pugh Entertainment and we are back again, and here now we have another video for you, and we're going to talk about Avengers Doomsday and the recent casting announcements and what it means going forward for both the movie itself and also the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now there could be spoilers here ahead for all movies and series within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so just beware when going to this overall video. Now this news follows a recent live stream posted by Marvel yesterday on Wednesday the 26th of March of 2025, which took place over several hours, drawing in several viewers and fans, and over the time the footage showed a series of names of actors that will be involved within the movie Avengers Doomsday, all printed at the back of chairs, with no appearances made, barring one, that of Robert Downey Jr., who showed up right at the end of the video clip. Now all the usual names were there that we've been accustomed to over the past near 16 years now within the MCU. The surprises, if you could call them that, were seeing the names of the actors from the Fox era of superhero movies, in particular the X-Men universe. So this included the likes of Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, James Marsden, Alan Cumming, Rebecca Romjin. We also had the likes of Channing Tatum, Kelsey, who also played Beast within those movies. So in other ways, this wasn't really surprising, as making a movie like this is going to be chock-a-block full of cameos, stunt casting, Easter eggs and references. And the blueprint for this was already set when the announcement that Robert Downey Jr. would be returning to this project and the MCU, but not only as Tony Stark, but this time as Doctor Doom. Now to be honest, this recent announcement wasn't as hyped or sensational, as we really truly didn't think that Robert Downey Jr. would ever be coming back. But this time, we knew that within this film there would be lots of cameos and plenty, as what I've mentioned before. Both the Avengers movies, due out in the next couple of years, titled Doomsday and Secret Wars, essentially are an adaptation of the famous 1984 comic book story arc, which ran for 12 issues, which sees all of the classic Marvel heroes collected and manipulated by the Beyonder against one another. Now we do then talk of the X-Men casting, and whilst it was a bit surprising to see so many of them coming back, I also now believe that this is an admission that we will not be getting an MCU iteration of the X-Men, mixing it in with the original Avengers. Perhaps it's felt at this point that it's not feasible or possible to have that type of development within the MCU running concurrently with what's going on at the current time. And then we look at the MCU itself and where it's at, and to me this whole project more than ever now feels that this is Marvel admitting that the cinematic universe in its current phase is really coming to an end. That this whole project is really a final big swing, Hail Mary, to rake in a couple of extra $1 billion before the whole thing has to be eventually rebooted. Now we've talked in great length on this channel about the many issues within the multiversal saga and the phase 4, which whilst there were some highs and successes, there were also many lows in terms of the quality of movies. The obvious diversity pushing of characters such as Captain Marvel, Mrs. Marvel, She-Hulk and Moon Knight just hasn't worked in trying to usher in a new era where Marvel felt they could eliminate the original cast of actors who were becoming more and more expensive to retain and rely on a younger core of heroes, all ticking the diversity boxes in the process. I still to this day genuinely feel that the universe should have either stopped after Avengers Endgame, or at the very least taking an extended break, 5 years or so, just like we've got with the 5-year blip. And phase 5 has really felt the knock-on effects from this, with both the likes of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania and most recently Captain America Brave New World all failing to perform at the box office. So rather than try to improve the direction of where the universe is heading, Marvel has just decided to just bring all the previous actors back, and sadly it all reeks of just desperation. Now yes, this tactic has been done before many times in other franchises when we look within the MCU. The likes of Spider-Man No Way Home, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and of course most recently Deadpool Wolverine, have all brought in multi-billion-dollar success. But especially with Deadpool and Wolverine, this feels less like organic storytelling and much more like just fan service gimmicks. A quick shortcut to provide hype and buzz, and in fairness, it's absolutely worked. Where at the time when the stream was shown yesterday, an estimated 10 million plus viewers all chipped in to see what exactly was going on. So these type of optics tells Marvel that the demand is still very much there for what they are trying to tell. Now whilst of course we haven't yet seen the film, you really do feel that it's going to be a mess. We think logistically of how exactly can this story work with this amount of castings and characters. How can it function when everybody has a significant role and at the same time feel integral to whatever the story is going to be? Now yes, practically all of the Avengers movies had a huge amount of cast and juggled a multitude of subplots alongside the main narrative. But that's because during phases 1 to 3 within the Infinity Saga, we had that organic story and real build up and foundation sets right throughout the universe that helped these Avengers movies be so successful. Now these upcoming installments have none of that same development. They're literally going to have to hit the ground running straight away. And if it had just the core team of Avengers, that maybe it could work. But again, you're dealing with this whole host of characters from the previous phases, as well as dealing with the X-Men characters from the Fox universe. So again, it just really makes you worried as to how exactly this is all going to work. It then asks the question of whether Marvel needs to try. If they know that all it takes is various cameos, fan gimmicks, returning actors to generate success, then why do anything else? As was proven with Deadpool and Wolverine, which grossed over $1.3 billion. If that's what audiences are happy with and want to see, then why not just give them that? Once more, it raises the question of how we can expect newer films and original ideas to be successful if the majority of the audience get hyped up for Avengers Doomsday and this type of stunt casting. We've seen recently newer films such as Alto Knights, Novocaine, Mickey 17, and Magazine Dreams all failed to get attention or generate much in terms of box office. So if that's the type of ratio with original stories, why take the risk? In their mindset, they're going to feel, why should they take the risk when they can just generate films such as Deadpool and Wolverine and rake in billions of dollars in the process? In this never-ending debate about the culture war within entertainment, how can things really improve if everybody's just going to turn up for these following Avengers movies where they could just collate all the actors together and succeed, which will result in just more of the same rather than receiving anything different? And Marvel indeed knows this. That's why they produced that live stream the way that they did. They knew that they still have enough clout and enough investment to generate social media in particular and trend enough to connect to the general audiences also. And no doubt about it, both of the Avengers movies, Doomsday and Secret Wars, are both going to gross between $1.5 and $2 billion each. Just the sheer interest of how many cameos will appear and in what capacity will be enough to draw audience in. And make no mistake, despite this casting announcement, this will not be the end. We are going to see much more names being announced later on down the line, especially when we get to Avengers Secret Wars also. But whether that will generate a true sign that the MCU is still functioning well, whether it can get back to the heights, certainly like what we saw with both Infinity War and Endgame, I'm still not as sure. But whether at this stage Marvel really cares, as long as they rake in the billions, they'll be satisfied with that. But again, that's not really the direction that we should be seeing the franchise going in. So let's my thoughts and feelings when looking back at the recent casting announcements surrounding Avengers Doomsday. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you have any other further movies, television series, or any other topics within the pop entertainment and culture scene that you'd like to see me cover within the channel, then also let me know within the comments and I will see if I can provide further commentary for you on that subject matter within the future. Please consider hitting like the subscription and notification buttons so I can provide you with more high quality content like this in the future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves and I will see you very, very soon.